I want to ask you about your ex-wife, Britney Spears, only because you were married not that long ago. And now we see these very odd videos that she's putting out of her dancing on TikTok. She's always alone. She doesn't look well. This is a woman that's only 44 years old. She should be in the prime of her life, in the prime of her career.
I just hope for nothing but the fastest recovery. I know a lot of people make mistakes, and we do not want to repeat mistakes and have the people around her take advantage of her.
Britney Spears is reportedly on edge right now, according to Page 6, and the situation around her is getting intense. Reports claim she has been panicking over everything that has recently happened, especially with fears that parts of her old life could creep back in the same life, tied to the conservatorship and family control that caused years of controversy.
Yeah, are you concerned, Sam, about her health and her well-being?
My concerns and my compassion always goes towards her. That was a woman that was being abused by the people around her, the people that she was the most vulnerable towards. And my heart is always going to have that feeling, that protection of her. So
sources say the pressure of relatives suddenly trying to reconnect has her feeling overwhelmed and extremely anxious. The word edge really stands out here, because when Britney Spears is pushed to that point, it usually means something serious is brewing behind the scenes.
Officers from the California Highway Patrol's Moore Park area arrested Britney Jean Spears, 44, of Westlake Village on suspicion of driving under the influence of a combination of alcohol and drugs.
And honestly, that kind of tension is exactly what many people close to the situation hoped would never happen again. For those who don't know me, hey guys, it's Murad Mirali, and we're diving straight into this story today because the reports are wild.
All I texted her was, "Are you okay?" She said, "I'm okay." That's all it was. And I said, "Do you mind if I speak about this?" She's like, "Yeah, go ahead." I want the world to know that she is such a great person. She is one of the most strong women that I've ever met.
Britney has apparently been heavily pressured by members of her estranged family who are urging her to reconnect with her father, Jamie Spears. And according to sources close to her circle, that possibility alone is the last thing she wants right now. Many believe this is exactly the scenario Jamie has been waiting for, which makes the situation feel even more uncomfortable for Britney. What makes this even more shocking is the claim that Jamie Spears was reportedly excited after hearing about the recent DUI incident, almost as if it confirmed his long-held narrative about her. Some insiders say his reaction was basically, "I told you so," which has only added more tension behind the scenes. Critics believe moments like this are being used as an excuse to push communication between the two again, something Britney has clearly tried to keep distance from since the conservatorship ended.
Britney's behavior has been erratic over the last few years. We've talked about the conservatorship ending, then a lot of questions about what would her behavior be like when she's not being constantly watched. I think it is appropriate for people, A, to be concerned, B, to consider an actual intervention to see if she can be helped.
Another layer to this drama revolves around money, because Britney reportedly has around $200 million to her name now, and some people close to the situation think that financial power is a huge factor in why certain family members suddenly want back in. People online keep asking the same question: what exactly has the rest of the family been doing? The mother released books talking about Britney. Jamie Lynn released books about her sister, and others in the family have also tried to tell their side of the story publicly.
This was an unfortunate incident that is completely inexcusable. This is a statement obtained by the New York Post's Page 6. Britney is going to take the right steps and comply with the law, and hopefully this can be the first step in long overdue change that needs to occur in Britney's life. Hopefully she can get the help and support she needs during this difficult time.
Meanwhile, an LA associate who reportedly has regular contact with Britney's friend group and some of her family told Page 6 that Britney is genuinely terrified about the possibility of Jamie re-entering her life. According to that source, she is seriously freaking out over the idea of her father coming back into the picture. At the same time, Jamie's side has claimed that he simply does not want to stay disconnected from his daughter, adding another complicated layer to an already explosive situation. Sources also claim something surprising about Britney's sons. According to the same associate, the boys have apparently been supportive of Jamie Spears and the idea of their grandfather possibly reconciling with their mom. After years of tension in the family, the report says the boys have slowly rebuilt a relationship with their granddad. Because of that, they supposedly wouldn't mind seeing the family come back together despite all the drama that has played out over the years.
She's clearly on something in all of these videos that are posted regularly on her account. They're so uncomfortable, they're so sad. Everybody knows that something's wrong. People genuinely just want this woman to be happy.
Honestly, hearing that raised a lot of eyebrows. Some people watching this story unfold say they had a feeling something like this might happen. The perception the boys have of their mom today is very different from the way the public once saw Britney at the height of her career. They've grown up during a period when their mother has been dealing with intense public scrutiny, personal struggles, and the aftermath of years under strict control. Because of that, their understanding of the situation may be shaped by what they've personally witnessed rather than everything that happened behind the scenes.
The solo occupant, Ms. Spears, showed signs of impairment and submitted to a series of field sobriety tests. Ms. Spears was subsequently arrested for a violation of California Vehicle Code Section 23152G, driving under the influence of a combination of drugs and alcohol, and booked into the Ventura County Main Jail. This incident is still under investigation. Chemical tests are still pending.
And that's where the conversation gets complicated. Many fans argue that Britney went through years of restrictions and decisions being made for her during the conservatorship, something she has spoken about publicly. Supporters believe those experiences deeply affected her life and behavior afterward. When someone goes through long periods of control, legal battles, and heavy pressure, the emotional and psychological effects can take a long time to unpack. At the same time, the boys have grown up in the spotlight while seeing their mom's social media posts and public moments play out online. Some observers say that, for teenagers trying to live normal lives, constantly seeing headlines and viral clips about their parent could be confusing or even frustrating. That doesn't mean they don't care about their mother. It just shows how messy and complicated family dynamics can become when fame, legal battles, and years of conflict collide.
Gen Z doesn't understand exactly how that couple affected popular culture, how massive the fact that those two were a couple was for both of their hashtag brands, which wasn't really a thing at the time, but that was so significant. And
Another important factor people bring up is the impact of medication and stress during the conservatorship years. Britney herself previously said she was given strong medications, including lithium, during that time. Medical experts often explain that powerful treatments and long periods of stress can affect a person's mood, energy, and behavior even after the situation changes. Because of that, many supporters argue that expecting Britney to simply return to the exact person she was decades ago isn't realistic. This entire situation shows how complicated things still are inside that family.
Leading to an hour-long chase. Now her own rep is saying she needs help.
Fans continue asking why the boys might see things differently from many of Britney's supporters, while others point out that every family member has their own experiences and perspective on what happened. One thing is clear though, the tension and unanswered questions around Britney, her family, and the conservatorship era are still creating waves today. A lot of people watching this situation are still confused and asking the same question: how did things get this complicated? Reports say the 4-year-old pop star becomes extremely triggered whenever the subject of her father comes up. According to insiders, there is deep resentment there, the kind that builds over many years and doesn't simply disappear overnight. Sources claim that even the possibility of Jamie Spears returning to her life immediately puts Britney on edge, and her mood can shift into a very dark place when the topic is mentioned.
I feel like anybody who knows anything about Britney's story knows that police, hospitals, that's all very triggering for her. Police have not released Britney's blood alcohol content, but of course TMZ has sources and claim that Britney's was below the legal limit at 0.06. Again, if you know anything about Britney's story, you know that she was in a hospital when her dad and Lou Taylor allegedly went to the courthouse and got her into a conservatorship.
The same insider claims that some people around Britney have recently been encouraging the idea of some kind of family reunion. Apparently, that talk has increased over the past few months, especially as her sons have spent more time reconnecting with other relatives. But the reports say that pressure only adds more stress for Britney, not relief. Some sources even suggest that during particularly stressful periods, she has turned to alcohol as a way to cope with emotional pain tied to these family conflicts. According to The Insider, Britney still views her father as the central villain in her story because of how restricted and controlled she felt during the conservatorship years.
Somebody called to report someone driving and weaving out of the freeway in Ventura County. So she wasn't just spotted by a police officer, somebody called. What I'm saying is a lot of people think that this was a setup by an inside person.
They say she strongly disliked the strict structure she had to follow the constant doctor appointments, therapy sessions, and detailed medication schedules that were set up for her. Situations like that can become incredibly emotional, especially when a parent is directly involved in overseeing such personal parts of someone's life. The conversation around medication has also been a major point of debate among fans. Britney previously spoke in court about being prescribed strong treatments during that time, including lithium, which she said made her feel heavily affected. Medical experts often explain that medications like that are sometimes used in serious mental health treatment, but they also require very careful supervision. Because of that, people continue questioning how everything was handled and whether her concerns were fully heard.
Britney's lucky it was only a DUI and something not much more tragic. Let's be real, we have to acknowledge that fact. Britney Spears is not well. We've all watched Britney struggle for decades now with severe mental health issues on and off. This woman has been scrutinized in the public eye since I was a little girl. I truly hope that she gets the help she desperately needs and deserves.
Many fans still remember the emotional testimony she gave in court, where she described feeling monitored, restricted, and forced to follow routines that made her uncomfortable. She spoke about moments where she felt her privacy disappeared completely, saying she sometimes had to do things in front of people she barely knew. For supporters who heard that testimony, those memories haven't faded at all. They remain one of the most powerful parts of the entire conservatorship story. Now the debate online has shifted toward her sons, who are now adults themselves. Some critics believe that at their age, they should be able to understand more of what their mother says she went through. Others argue that growing up in the middle of a very public family conflict could shape how anyone sees the situation. Either way, the emotions around this story remain intense, and it's clear that the wounds from those years are still affecting everyone involved. This whole situation has sparked a lot of emotional reactions online. Some people are asking tough questions about what role family members should play when someone they love has gone through years of conflict and public scrutiny. Critics argue that if a mother feels unsafe or deeply uncomfortable around certain relatives, the priority should be protecting her peace, not pushing her back into situations that could reopen old wounds. That's why some observers feel strongly that the people closest to Britney should be focused on supporting her boundaries instead of encouraging reunions she clearly doesn't want. Supporters also point out that Britney has said many times she felt surrounded by people who benefited from her success during the conservatorship years. Because of that history, fans often use words like vultures to describe individuals they believe were taking advantage of her fame and money. Those accusations are still debated today, but the anger from many supporters remains very real. At the same time, another source connected to the family told Page 6 that Jamie Spears has been dealing with serious health issues in recent years. According to that report, he has been emotionally hurt by the idea that his daughter may never want to speak with him again. The source claims that during a period when his health was reportedly in a dangerous state, Jamie hoped Britney might visit him, but that meeting never happened. Despite all the criticism, Jamie has reportedly continued telling people around him that he believes he saved Britney's life by putting the conservatorship in place. That claim has been heavily disputed by many fans and members of the Free Britney movement, who argue the opposite. After news of Britney's recent DUI situation surfaced, many supporters quickly defended her online, saying that reconnecting with her father is the last thing she needs right now. For a lot of people watching this story unfold, the bigger issue is the long history of tension inside the Spears family. Fans continue to question the motivations of several relatives and wonder whether reconciliation is even possible after everything that has happened. One thing is clear though, the emotions around Britney, her family, and the aftermath of the conservatorship are still running extremely high. A lot of people watching this drama keep asking the same question: how could a family situation turn into something this messy? Sadly, when huge amounts of money are involved, relationships can shift in ways that surprise everyone. When someone becomes incredibly wealthy, some relatives may start seeing opportunity instead of simply seeing family. Suddenly, the person isn't just a daughter or sister anymore. They're viewed as a source of access, influence, and financial power. And when that access disappears, tensions can explode quickly. Critics of the Spears family argue that once Britney began creating distance, certain relatives became louder in the media, writing books, giving interviews, and sharing their own versions of events. That's why many fans online keep using strong words like vultures, saying several family members seemed more focused on the spotlight around Britney than protecting her peace. People also continue debating the role of her parents over the years. Some supporters believe Britney didn't always receive the guidance or protection she needed when she first entered the music industry at such a young age. That's why many fans feel uncomfortable seeing relatives now speaking publicly about her choices, especially when the family dynamic has already been under intense scrutiny for years. Then there's the conversation around her sons and her ex-husband, Kevin Federline. Some fans believe the boys, now that they're older, might eventually develop their own deeper understanding of what their mother went through during the conservatorship era. Others think the situation is complicated because they've grown up hearing different perspectives from multiple adults around them. Another thing that has caught people's attention is how quickly certain figures connected to Britney seem to comment whenever headlines appear about her life. Whether it's former partners, relatives, or outside voices reacting to situations like the recent DUI report, critics online often question why those responses happen so fast, instead of staying private and supportive. For many observers, the bigger concern is whether Britney is surrounded by people who genuinely want stability for her rather than more public drama.